So, hello everyone, here's time for Sabikui Bisco episode 2, because of course, badass big sister, that's what I want to say. I was going to fight the guy, yeah, come on. What else do we care about? Not really the panda guy, no, we care about the hot sister. The Unesha with the weird kind of like, I don't know, it's like a pipe, I guess, Sabo style, like a sword, like a pipe, it's like a half pipe or something for a weapon. Definitely a weird weapon, but, you know, makes it look badass, right? So, that's what I'm here for. Episode 1. Interesting episode with the airplane thing and so on. Some people compared it to Dora Hedero. I also got that feeling, but honestly I think that it's mostly because all the mushroom, right? Like because the bad guy in Dora Hedero has mushroom powers. But it is kind of weird though, and the world is kind of weird, so there is some similarities in that though. Anyway, so 2 things before that. Fantasy Gender Bender, unfortunately. I commented about early discourse on tomorrow, right? I took that video away because I've seen a few people having issue with that anime, right? And it's like the most notorious anti-fair use company in like the whole shit. So I was like, I guess that's what we're doing. That's unfortunate. I had a lot of views on that video, right? Many likes and so on. But we keep doing the anime on Twitch and so on, and Patreon as well. So you can find all the stuff later on though. You can find episode 1 on that Patreon. So it's not gone, and tomorrow I do episode 2 on Twitch then, probably. For live stream, yeah. So anyway, and second thing, I am thinking of watching the baseball anime, but today I'm very, very busy. I couldn't do last week either. So hopefully at least next week I'm hoping to do episode 1 to 3 reviews of the baseball anime. Something like that. But today I'm very busy. So let's watching it, yeah, because I'm much time. So 3, 2, 1, and go. Oh yeah, now it's a real opening. Last week they had kind of a half opening, right? You kind of saw the opening in the... Okay, now there's even more door header with the weird stuff there. See, my Kanna had a little dirt on her backpack. There we go. Yeah, so Kanna had a little dirt on the backpack. Got this for yesterday. Look at this. It's actually quite detailed, I feel. A little tail there. Yeah, nice detail. You can barely see the little Nesco, but you know. Okay, so now a whale appears in the... A lot of whales. Sand whales, I guess. That's the evolution, right? The classic sci-fi evolution. If the world turned into sand, yeah, all the water animals are gonna live on sand, right? Here comes the badass sister. And then like, you know, there's a girl with like a rocket launcher. There's a lot of sand whales. That's what's enemies. Then of course Can You Sue is a bad guy. Now it's the sand whales are the enemies of them, not the humans itself. But yeah, now he's fighting a helicopter and sand whales or something. He mushroomed the helicopter next to the sand whales. It's a very cool opening, I guess. Very confusing though. Like when I'm watching, yeah, we have all this, you know, panda and yeah, they're obviously gonna have a bromance, right? But I wait for Panda's sister to fall in love with the main character, right? Definitely, come on, she's gonna fall in love with... Come on, she's gonna be all like, oh, what a badass boy, you know. Best friend with my brother, oh, I gotta smash him. Come on, we all know that. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, back to when he was stealthing in there. Yeah, back to when he's trying to stealth in. Still to this thing. It's obviously already happened. This is obviously in the past. Now it's a little bit like this already happened, clearly. Yeah, like this thing happened last episode, right? Or I mean, we know who's in the city, right? So. What? I guess just... Yeah, it's obviously the main character. The man-eater, yeah, but we already know he passed... But we already know this, alright? We already know... He's in the city fighting them with the mushrooms, right? Oh, no, not the hot photo behind them. No! The OPPAIs! Yeah. The mushrooms! Yeah, he missed mushroom attacks. The OPPAIs flew past us, and then the photo of the boobs flew. Yeah. A lurker's room. Okay, it's good for healing. Wait. Yeah, isn't Panda already breaking the law? Yeah, it's already... What's saying? Obviously best friend soon. It's gotta got. Okay, and then you rot, I guess, the rust rot or something. Yeah, because like you can't put bandage, then you're gonna rot. Yeah, okay. So it's like you need to remove this thing. Well, the old man is in the opening, so he's gonna survive. I'm just throwing it out there, but the old man is definitely gonna survive because he's in the opening, right? It's like his mentor or something. He's gonna survive this thing. Okay, I guess the mushroom. Yeah. Well, the mushrooms. Am I review last week, right? I assumed the mushroom is gonna be this like cure for the rust, right? All these people have the rust thing, and I would assume that it is, you know, yeah, like if you get the right mushroom, you can remove the rust, right? Here comes. I don't know why the government has like weird, bunnies, like suits with weird bunny helmets. Why? Yeah, it's like why did the government's like mandatory government uniform, bunny suit? Yeah, bunny up, guys. It's like what? Why? And also the leader has sunglasses on his bun. Yeah, but yeah, the enemies are a bunch of weirdos, a bunch of mascot creatures. The girl for some reason only had pink hair, right? Yeah, she didn't have like a bun on her. And obviously Kerisuda being the leader didn't have it. But he's a leader, right? So that makes more sense. I'm incredibly tired today. It's weird. Even though I slept like 6 hours, come on. Okay, so it blows up the hospital with mushrooms, I guess. Probably, right? You know, what happened to his sister, actually? His sister went to fight him, right? And then he, you know, arrived where she lives. So, what is she doing? She's running around the city or something? Yeah, how should he... why hasn't she returned home yet? Like, wasn't she just at this place? Waiting to try to find him, right? I would imagine so, but... Oh, here's the crab thing. Oh my god, the crab is their mount, right? Oh my god, this is weird shit, but the crab is their mount or something. Oh yeah. That is so weird. Hippos! This anime is so effed up, man. And it's like military hippos or something. Why? Why do they have cyborg hippos for? Why? They have like a giant crab and it's like cyborg hippos. Oh no, he coming with the hippos at us. What? This anime is so weird. Oh my god, is that, you know, good kind of hentai? No, but the hentai is weird. Yeah, it's a good kind of weird. The hippo army, cyborg hippos. Here we go. Why? I want to know why doing this in, I'll say, non-chronological order, right? Like, it go back and forth with this flashback, how the old man got hurt, I guess. Back to the current time, right? Because clearly this hippo fight happened before with the current, right? So, I don't know. I probably prefer that you start with hippo fight, right? And then they jump, and then, you know, we keep going. So if we're going like back and forth between like yesterday and today kind of things, like one day back, kind of jump and forth, right? This shit. Keep doing this stuff. But, yeah, I hope the sister's gonna come now, probably, right, you know? Oneshan, hot, badass Oneshan, right? Probably right now. There she goes, yeah, totally, guys, yeah, come on. It's time for the badass biker girl, come on. Ah, teasing me. Okay, fine, it's good, still her. She got some cool bike and a lot of rust. Okay, she's captain, of course, yeah. Captain PAWOOOOW, yeah! PAWOOOOW indeed! PAWOOOOOW, I guess, PAWOOOOOW. OPPAIs. Rusty OPPAIs. Still pretty hot though, even though OPPAIs are rusting. Which is a weird thing to say, I feel, yeah, boobs that are rusting. Some kind of flesh rusting. Must be World of Warcraft, you know, that the flesh curse they have in World of Warcraft makes them, but the reverse then, yeah. So in World of Warcraft, you know, golems and so on, right, giants turns into flesh, right? And that's how you get vehicles, so that's how you get humans and all, right? This like the rush, like human turning into metal instead, like flesh turning into metal. Curse of flesh all the way around. No, she's like, wait, that's my home. I just left that place. Hopefully she's gonna figure out that fighting in her brother's place, right? Of course she hates Suda's character, of course. See, so now they jump back to, you know, hippo crab fight, right? Which is, yeah, because of course they have cyborg hippos. But that makes sense. You said they had I don't know what that was, the airplane thing. The airplane with the weird thing on his face. Oh, a bigger crab comes or something? Or what's that thing? What is this hippo thing? It's so weird. Oh my god. Oh, he just lifts the hippo because he's like, I don't know, he eats the right kind of mushrooms, you know. He eats the kind of berserk mushrooms, right? It's like walking. Oh, it's a mushroom, of course, pops up from the ground. They're doing like a mushroom launch, I guess, over the wall. Also with Attack the Titans. Yeah, they're just gonna create a massive colossus. So the pink girl is clearly gonna be important to some extent, right? Yeah, this pink cutie girl, the kawaii girl. This. Oh, she was the one flying, of course. And either she's like sick or she's just a drug tard. It's like, oh, this is alcohol. Yeah, okay. Listen to the alcohol and not the medicine, but okay, let's see. But she's some kind of, I don't know, Genki Genki pilot something, I don't know. Murderous pilot girl. Yeah, so clearly PAWOOOOW and... Yeah, she's like... But clearly Unesha with Rusty OPPAIs are, you know, she's like a proper government worker, right, you know? And this guy is running some kind of half illegal, secret Black Ops thing, right? There's like, we gotta hide information about the mushrooms, you know. So clearly Suda is the big baddie, right? Or at least the dragon for the big bad. He's obviously trying to, like, you know, hide the secret the government's doing, right? Where Uneshan is just like, you know, a proper cop or whatever, right? He's trying to fix the crime, right? Yeah. So she's clearly a very honest person. He's like the corrupt black government guy. He's pretty obvious Black Ops team that he is, right? And she's also part of some kind of, yeah, exactly, mobster governor, yeah, it's kind of. Oh, yeah, she's like a massive pilot master. Well, she's probably gonna join them later. I feel, yeah, she's gonna join the good guys later, right? And she got some kind of, yeah, she's like the best pilot in the country. You can't empathize with me, moron! He's a really mean boss, man. You can't empathize with me, moron. Don't tell me you're sad. Yeah, it's like, well, don't tell me you don't. Don't tell me you feel sad about my life. You can understand me. It's like, what is a weird insult to his employee there? But okay, whatever. He's clearly the bad guy, so. But that means that she was the, yeah, of course she was the one that piloted, but it just feels weird. I wonder if the novel is in the same order. So they showed us her airplane fight, right? And now then they showed the hippo fight, and now this is like after that. So that the airplane fight clearly happened after the hippo fight, right? So it feels like a really unnecessary. It's very Arifrata feel to it, episode 1 to 3. You're like, why have they changed the order of events for some reason? I wonder if the novel has the same order of events, right? I really wonder, honestly. Yeah, I wonder if it's like the. I really wonder if the. It just feels strange now because no one knows that the old man is gonna get shot by her, right, in the airplane. Because now, yeah, so now they're having this, like, you know, they're talking here, but we know he's gonna get shot, right? And then get to Panda, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, we know exactly. It's like a spider hand or something, isn't it? Looks like a giant hand, right? Or like spider legs. Kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild, in Desert Breath of the Wild. If you've seen those bigger... this is also kind of old monster died, right? So kind of skeleton you can find in a few places in Gerudo Desert, yeah, in Breath of the Wild. In the west coast of the game. So it's a southern, western edge of the game. Well, yeah, he clearly taught him this stuff, right? Crab controlling and so on. So there are more mushroom people, I guess? It's like mushroom keepers, so it's their title. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to hear you. You don't want to die, old man. You're like my dad. Yeah, I got the roast right. Yeah, I got the roast right, so... Don't slow me down, old man. It clearly loves him. It's clearly... Come on, it's clearly love. It's like his dad mentor, right? Come on. Yeah. Panda, of course. Into a new friend, right? But I wonder how they've trained these crabs. Yeah, so then the government has trained hippos and they have trained crabs because that's the natural order of it. Yeah, the government was like, cyborg hippos, guys. So the good guys were like, what if we train crabs? You know, giant crabs. That's clearly the natural enemy of hippos. That's probably what happened, right? That's probably the backstory here. Yeah, they were like, how can we defeat the high hippos, cyborg hippos? So here comes the airplane, right? Probably her, of course, the master fighter girl. So dog fighter girl, yeah. Exactly. She has her own like weird. But I wonder why they have this thing on the airplane. Why do they have this? Yeah, it was a snail. I call it. I said a snail that episode. Yeah. So I wonder why they have this snail strike. They're like, yeah, here's like a snail airship, like cyborg snail airships. Oh, of course you can spit some kind of poison or acid or whatever. Yeah, of course. Because it's like a snail airplane, so... Who needs bomb guys when I have like a snail poison mist attack? This anime is so weird. Oh, what? A snake in his leg too? So they also have like eel or snakes or something? What was that thing? Did she launch some kind of like snake attack earlier? That was like hiding in the desert, what? Or something? Was it his bad luck that he's a machine gun? Like a yeah. I'm surprised it's a normal machine gun. It isn't like the machine gun isn't shooting, I don't know, yeah, and then of course Yabi gets hit there. As we knew, as she explained earlier, right? Yeah, because she just told us like 10 minutes ago if we got shoot him they shot him in his stomach, right? Or his back, I guess. Whatever, like in his torso. Yeah, and it blasts through her. There's either the fuel of the plane or is it bleeding? I don't know! It's like a cyborg airship! It was all red. It could be the fuel, but also it could be like... snail blood? Probably fuel. Yeah, and then we get the whole don't die Abby, right? And now we go back to present time. Okay, so now we're in the, I guess he's like a super badass warrior. It doesn't seem to slow him down, right? To be shot and to be rusty. Well, I guess everyone gets rusty, even this, I call it mushroom keepers. So, everyone probably dies eventually from rust anyway, right? He's old though, so, but still. Yeah, so Dr. Panda's gonna be like, we best friends now? Well, I mean, they're obviously gonna be best friends. They're obviously gonna become best friends, so it's so obvious, but... Panda. Well, okay, Milo. Nick och Yagi. But everyone calls me Panda, don't know. It's gonna say the Panda comment. There's a Panda eyes, no. It doesn't say the Panda line, okay. The old man is like pretending to sleep. He's like, oh, that was cute. Yeah, this old man like yeah, he's like best friend bromance. He's pretending to sleep there. Didn't want to disturb your bromance. But come on, I want to see the fight. I want to see the badass babe fight. Come on, I want to see your powwow. Come on, I want to see your wow. You know, powwow. Yeah, powwow. I guess, no, but come on, I want to see your powwow OPPAIs in the fight. With that badass rusty OPPAIs, you know. Oh yeah, huge mushroom where you live, like at your exactly at the Panda. My Ototo! Here we go. Finally, you know, he hurt my brother. Finally, here we go. He destroyed my brother's home. Yeah, now she's pissed off, right? You can't hurt my brother, my Ototo. It's gonna be all like Sieg yesterday, yeah. Onishan is here, you know, yeah. Time, exactly. Onishan's time. Come on. I thought this is the end episode, right? Unfortunately, Onishan is pissed off now in the last 1 minute here. Next episode, I guess we're gonna see Onishan fighting him. No, so yeah, of course she's the watcher, she's gonna come here. Yeah, there's a pink, of course. Fighter girl. Yeah. And of course she loses her head, right, for some reason. But I mean, they're probably gonna team up, right? Even though she's kind of corrupted. She's some kind of gold digger, you know, like she's like, oh, I don't care, man. I can go your side, yeah, I don't care. Yeah. I mean, she's clearly like, I just want the money, right? I just want money. Come on, I'm just a cute little pinky girl, yeah. Oh, you wouldn't hurt me. I could be a good wife or something, yeah. See, I can join your team, right? Finally, here we go. Yeah, badass babe comes. Yes, yes. Oh yeah. This is how the preview was basically. This is basically the preview right, for last episode. Yeah, they know what we want. We want a badass fighter. That's a scary ass coming in here. She runs away immediately, yeah. That pinky girl, yeah. Those everything she can to just get money or something. A greedy little woman, yeah. Or broke her sword, or whatever it is, pipe sword thing. Here we go. Duel. So goddamn it ends on what you want, right? Sorry, yeah. I have a little bit of the cough, right? But it is much better, of course, than it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, last Monday I still had it a bit that was pretty painful, but not like super painful. There was like two Sundays ago, yeah, with the Demon Slayer, the Titan, and everything. And that big Sunday, that was actually the most painful coughing side. Otherwise was probably like two aspects, but whatever. The ending doesn't seem much to have here. It's just like the credits with like a little bit of mushrooms. I am though honestly much more tired, I feel, especially today for whatever reason. So I don't know. Like I'm just more tired, right, than I used to be, having slept this many X hours, right? You know what I mean? Like I expect myself to be more alert or whatever, right? But it's fine though, and hopefully, but I should say hopefully I'm fine right soon. But I'm working from home, of course. Then we got the preview, red and blue. Yeah, they're gonna fight. But that's true, of course. You know, she's the blue Uni, it's a red Uni. Yeah. But unfortunately, the ending was really the moment we want to watch, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, like that. The ending is, of course, what you're waiting for, right? And they were kind of sneaky with that, honestly, to be with anime some critique here, because in the last what's called preview, this was on the preview, right? Yeah, the preview basically showed us them fighting, right? The preview showed us the scene when she's pop. I see my. I saw it now. Sorry, I'm gonna fix the camera. I see that now. The camera should be, of course, like that. Yeah, so you can see the hibiki. There we go. Yeah, sorry, I saw it now. Whatever. But yeah, like obviously the face a little sneaky because like the last moment is what they actually preview, right? And he's like, well, scary ass you got there, girl. Yeah, it's like lady with scary ass. She's like, oh, I'm gonna show you. Yeah, and you know, she pops up. It's like, you hurt my little ototo. So yeah, that's unfortunate that this very last minute is what I was waiting for. You know, who doesn't want to wait for this badass rusty OPPAI, right, coming in here with some you know weird sword pipe thing. It's got a cool helmet, got a cool bike, right? It's always cool, you know, with badass chicks, right? Chicks with bikes, you know, yeah. Kind of badass, you know, bike rider girl with some kind of sword on their bike and everything. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously the last minute was the best part. Because it's always cool seeing some, you know, badass fighter girl. And, you know, she's pissed off, right? You hurt my brother or something. Even though he's, like, basically befriending her brother, but, you know, blocking his arrows with her sword and so on. But yeah, so that's kind of the end, right? That's kind of what hit the highlight. Otherwise, I mean, this anime is so weird, and it does definitely remind me of Torhedro. Not just because of the mushroom, but because it is a very weird anime, right? You watch it, and you're like, cyborg hippos. Of course, cyborg hippos appears, because that just makes sense, right? And they're like a cyborg crab or something. And like I said earlier, I was expecting some stupid backstory, how like, oh no, the cyborg hippos, the natural super enemy. And then the mushroom keepers were like, we gotta fight cyborg hippos with like crab cyborgs, because like as everyone know, like crab cyborgs is a natural, you know, enemy. They can easily defeat hippos or something. So yeah, let's go to the hippos here. I mean, it cracks me up, bro. I mean, of course, it's goddamn cyborg hippos. Because that makes sense, and you know, we have the snail playing, of course, and we saw earlier episode 1 as well, right? But now we saw what they could do too, and it wasn't really clear what it was, episode 1. Or, I mean, I guessed it was a snail. I said a snail, right? First I thought it was like an octopus, the first second, but then I said snail, right? So, I guessed correctly there, after I... But, yeah, the snail could, of course, spit like acid, poison mist, or whatever, right? So he has some abilities too. But this looks so stupid. Why would they develop like hippos with like rocket launchers or something? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. I mean, at least the snail you could argue for add something to the airplanes, like, you know, poison, like bioweaponry, right, on the airplane. But I don't really feel how the hippos add so much. It's like a tank, I guess. Maybe it's like a cheaper than building a tank. It's like a, yeah, I suppose, right. It's like a high defense point tank thing or something. I don't really know, you know, what the hippo does here, honestly, right? Because it's like a hippo with a gun, basically. With a rocket launcher or whatever, a turret on the top, right? Some kind of rocket launching turret thing on its back, where like the snail plane actually gave the plane new abilities. Like, I don't know why I'm going to break this down here in like a logical military standpoint, but honestly, the snail plane is much better, right? Because it actually it gives them her like poison mist, right? Where this thing here could have been any kind of mount, right? It could have been a horse, right, with like a gun or something. It could have been anything, right? It could have been basically anything that has size of an elephant, whatever, right? That being said, though, hippos are actually very, very violent. Hippos are actually very, very powerful. That their jaw bite is actually very, very strong, right? And hippos are actually super dangerous. They seem to be kind of like, you look at them on the screen or the TV or whatever, you're like, oh, pretty cute hippos. It's like a big little animal thing. It's just kind of like a big dog thing. Hippos are actually super violent if they're disturbed, and they can easily kill a lot of other animals. The weird thing with hippos, though, is that, you know, it doesn't really eat meat and so on, right? It can eat meat. It's kind of like a deer, but you know, you think it's like a pacifist kind of animal. It's just like a defensive animal. But that's kind of it, right? You piss them off, they're super dangerous. So Actually, yeah, like a horde of cyborg hippos sounds pretty lethal actually, but because their mouth is very, very powerful and they're very, very aggressive if you piss them off, right? So I guess if you train like 100 hippos to fight for you, actually it would be kind of dangerous. But at the same time, it also feels like they wouldn't be able to control them, right? Because they're so aggressive, so I don't know how they can. That's one thing, you know, like really aggressive animals, right? Like really aggressive animals, take a Wolverine, you know, like super aggressive, right? Or like a mongoose, or yeah, super, super aggressive animals. You would think that would be cool to train them to fight for your armor, right? But of course you can't train them because they're so aggressive, they just kill everything. They're just gonna kill you as well, right? It's just like a horrible thing. As a side note though, I do love the Romans when they use the pig thing. So the Romans, right? They had pigs, and then they would oil up the pigs and turn them on fire, and send them into the enemy horses, alright, to cause chaos. That's like a classic Roman strategy where you use the burning pig attack. It's a real strategy, right? Used by the Romans more than once in war. It actually is a pretty good strategy. Used to cause panic, right, between the enemies, and most of their horses get crazy. And then goes with Hannibal, you know, with the elephants versus the Romans, alright. Which is also badass, right? Because I mean, come on, if you're like a war leader, right? If you're like a warlord back in 2000 years ago, and you can build an army of elephants, like elephant army, that sounds pretty bad. This is the biggest animal on land, right? So you have the size. The funny thing though, I don't know why I got into this, but come on, it's animals, it's like history, okay? So, you know, humor me. The funny thing though with Hannibal, or fun thing, but the sad thing is, or actually kind of the Romans are smarter than him, right? So Hannibal, then, you know, again, Hannibal is the leader of Carthago, whatever it's going to be with. And Carthago then, of course, fought the Romans, right, for a while. And it's this classic saying of like, we're gonna, the elder, he always said like, I want to destroy Carthago every speech, and he said it so on. And eventually the Roman won and assaulted the Carthago, so nothing ever could grow there and so on. It's a classic legend. But anyway, Hannibal then being the leader of for a while, right, the military leader and so on as well, right? In this badass like African elephant army to fight them with. It's an actual army, right? And we also have, of course, Indian empires has also used elephants, right? So, for example, in the what's called English, the Bashanti Empire. What are they called now again? Batamas Empire. Oh, whatever. Something will be. Can't remember English name for it. But anyway, like, you know, you have different elephant armies, right? However, the funny thing, or the sad thing, whatever you call it, Hannibal, right? First of all, he had to actually get the elephants from Africa to Europe, right? So he had to move the elephants around from the Africa. So Carthago is like middle north. It's a North Africa coastline in the middle of Africa. Current Tunisia. Right? It's like, you know, modern day Tunisia. So, and that's bigger, but you know, Tunisia. So he had to like move the elephants from northern Africa, like move them the whole way down to the Gibraltar, right? That the shoreline there, so you can move over the elephants to Spain, or at that time it was not Spain but Castile or whatever. It's later too, whatever. Castile or whatever was at that time, or Valencia is also later, I guess. And so Algarve, but anyway. So he moved the elephants over there, and then he had to move the elephants over the mountains and so on to get to Rome, you know, to get to Italy. So he had to. So basically, this is Hannibal sounds like this like amazing, you know, badass warlord, right? Like, he had like hundreds of elephants, right? He's the only guy to move like a massive elephant army into Europe, right? But they all basically all died before they got there. So there's a sad factual story. He moved the elephants from Africa, right? It's warmer there somewhere, right? Moved the elephants through Europe to get to Italy, right? But let them walk around like that, right? And then half the army died before they got to Rome or outside of Italy, right? And then the Romans, they were like, this guy got like elephants, okay? They're really big. We got horses and pig shit. He got like elephants. Like a very weird army. So the Romans just ignored him. I just want to point it out that when I see this cyber hippie army, it reminds me of the Hannibal elephant army, yeah. And the army was shit. That's also one of the reasons why you don't have hippo armies. But hippos, very aggressive, so right. But being this a big animal isn't very good in war, right? Because, yeah, so the elephants, this sounds like badass, right? They have like a huge elephant army, right? The biggest animal on land, you know, badass, massive elephant army. And on top of the elephants, they have, you know, spear soldiers and archery and everything, right? Those things are so slow, so it sounds badass, but the Romans were like, what if we just ignore them? Yeah, literally, the Romans were like, okay, he has like hundreds of elephants over there. They're super slow. And every elephant, kind of like Lord of the Rings, right? They have this like archery tower. They're like, what if we just don't go over there? Because the elephants are like super duper slow, right? The archery doesn't get that much more range than them, so they're harder to hit them. But like we can just go away from them. We have our horses, right? We have our very well-trained legionnaires. They're very good at marching. The Romans were very engineering military power, right? And the reason why the Romans were good was because of engineers, right? I'm biased here, but the Romans were very famous, right? Because their armies, they built roads and they built aqueducts, right? And viaducts is actually what the name for it when you just move water. There's an aqueduct, of course, is the water bridge, right? But a viaduct is an actual bridge. So they built a lot of viaducts, actually, not aqueducts. They built aqueducts too, but especially they built viaducts and so on, right? And so they were very, very good at engineering, right, the Romans. Like the soldiers were like basically all of them were like military engineers, right? So of course they were good at strategy, you know? Some of the things that people are crap at in animals, so yeah. So the Romans were just like, oh, huge animal army. What if we just run away from it? Because it's so slow! Yeah. So they just left, right? They were like, let's go over there instead, yeah. So he, so Hannibal kept chasing after them. Kind of like this, honestly, kind of like this, right? He's like, come on, guys, send the elephant, cyborg elephants after them, Basically, that more, his ancient cyborgs, like, like an elephant with archery and so on, and a tower on them, yeah. Send them after them, right? And they were super slow, and the Romans were just like, okay, he's almost there now, okay, let's move over there instead, right? And you just kited him, right? I mean, video games, you just kited him, yeah. They just kept doing that, and then basically all the elephants died because they didn't have food for them. So they lost half the elephants or more, get into Italy, and then the Romans just kited them in Italy, and he didn't do shit with elephants. Like, they didn't reach anything. They never, because he was trying to like attack a city or something like Rome, and they were like, whatever, let's just leave the city then. Everyone just go outside the city, and no one dies, because that's the problem with having this gigantic animal army, is that, again, right, the army is so slow and hard to control, but also very, very slow, so the enemies is like, they're coming 1,000 elephants over here, okay, let's just leave the city then, and wait for them to go in there, and then attack them in the back, so the Romans just left, right, they left before he got there, yeah, they were like, let's just evacuate the city, right, because can't fight this huge army, let all the animals die, right, and then we fight them, yeah, and also for that matter, it's to flank this army, right, you know what I mean, you have a huge elephant army and all the animals he had, right, he's to flank it, right, the Romans have way better equipment, way better, like, ballistas and so on, Scorpios, of course, invented by the Romans, right, the ballista and Scorpio. So they can just kite them and shoot at them, right? A terrible army. So this looks badass, and I like it. I like the anime because it's crazy, but at the same time, this probably will be the worst thing ever in military. Not the worst, but it's like the elephant. Yeah, it's like on the level of elephant army. It is probably incredibly terrible. And in that sense too, right? This looks really amazing. So I'm not thinking it that. It's an anime, of course, it's badass. It looks cool, right? That's cool, like women with big tits and just But at the same time, that's why I think that's why it's funny anime, but at the same time, it's very, very anime, right? Because picture having a hippo cyber army. These things are massive. They're very easy to hit them, yeah. They have zero evasion, right? They have zero evasion. They have the elephant army. That's what the Romans use ballista, right? Zero evasion, right? It's very intimidating, right, the elephant army, but actually it's horrible when you actually fight someone with them. So, yeah, you can probably shoot this shit down, right? It's super easy to... And actually, yeah, the main character is like a sniper with, like, explosive mushrooms. It must be super easy for him to hit them, actually. They're, like, moving targets, but they're very slow and they're very big. These are, like, this is, like, terrible against archery attacks. They're terrible against artillery. That's the big issue, right, with big elephants and so on and big hippos. They're really bad against artillery. And he has like magical mushroom artillery. It's like he's like the anti-hippo guy. Maybe that's why they have mushroom. Maybe that's the part of the story. Like, maybe it's gonna be like, maybe one of the reasons they use the mushroom archery is because, yeah, the enemy seem to have giant snails and other giant animals. So they were like, massively, really. And the opening, of course, a lot of elephants. The opening had like whales, right? Yeah, flying whales. So the opening. The opening had like also other bigger animals, right? Mostly flying whales. So certainly, maybe that's the reason why they were like inventing these like explosive mushrooms, I guess, because they were like, oh, like that's gonna be effective against really big animals that have zero evasion, right? Here's a good image. He snipes the helicopter next to. The whole thing is really cool, though. Yeah, he sniped in the It's like a helicopter and a flying blue whale, right? It's like the worst thing ever. Back to the Zeppelin I talked about yesterday in the Titan, yeah. It's the blimp shit, right? So yeah, being an archer, that might be honestly why they are mushroom keepers, right, with archery. Because certainly, like, explosive mushroom attacks that you can, like, range strike, like, you can use it with an arrow, seem to be very good against gigantic whales, right, they're flying, because they're horrible at evading. You can easily pierce them and explode them from the inside, so... Honestly, hopefully that's it. Hopefully that's it, right? The thing I broke down here now, that, yeah, huge animal armies are pretty terrible, given history. It is really terrible. So, but it looks cool, and honestly, right, that thing with Hannibal, like, it looked really cool. It's not stupid to say, but honestly, right, a lot of the Hannibal thing is that people were so afraid of him, right? The other countries, they were not Romans, they were like, shit, because of elephants? Let's just surrender, man. He coming back 1,000 elephants? We can't defeat that, right? But the Romans were like, that's a shit army. Like, it just looks, it's very like substantive matter, yeah. The Romans were like, that army just looks really intimidating, but actually it's crap. They just evade it and shoot it from the back, right? They just go there and shoot it. Yeah, the Romans were a little too smart for that. They were like, we don't care about that, yeah. Lastly, I say one thing. Complete side note, but I just want to point it out now we're in the Romans here, and the Romans fight the military. The Romans did the same thing as Boudica, right? With the Celts. So they have used a strategy all the time. So in, what's that, 1601? Yeah, 1601 after Christ. Is it before Christ? 1601 before. I think it's, I want to say it's 1662. Before Christ or after Christ? Oh, god damn it. No, I can't. No, I want to say it's BC, like before Christ. Then you had the Celt rebellion against the Romans in England. But anyway, what they did, this is a famous thing. It's a Boudica then, this famous Celtic female leader, right? She's like a famous war lady because she beat the Romans. That's what people keep saying. And I'm not doing this to be an anti-vocal or whatever, but that's completely false. She didn't beat the Romans whatsoever. But she usually credited as one of the greatest female leaders because she conquered London from the Romans, right? Londonus, as it's called. But that's completely false, okay? It's completely false. So what actually happened was that, okay, so Boudica, her husband, and after he got murdered by the Romans, kinda-ish, killed by them, and she got Ard and so on, her daughter got Ard by the Romans, she gathered up this Celtic army, right, to kind of rebel, right, and to conquer back England and the British Isles, I guess, generally speaking, from the Romans, right. So she made this huge army, and she, was raiding down against London then. London is built by Romans, Londonus is actually a settlement by the Romans. So she went down to London with this huge army, right, of all the Celts, and the London then was basically, the Roman capital of British Isles, right? And they went down there. But the Romans then, similar to Hannibal, it's almost kind of the same. He is roughly the same time frame too here, right? Not that much years between actually. The Romans were like, oh, we don't have an army to fight the thing. Our army is in this place over there instead, right? In England, like on the side of the country. So what the Romans did, they just left. They just took all the people and all the armies they had, all the garrison people they had, right? They just left London. So Boudica actually never defeated the Romans. She just got to London, and the city was empty, and then she burned down the city. That's why she did her famous. She conquered London, she raided London, but she basically fight an army because they were like, let's just leave, you can't beat the shit. And then the Boudica and the Celts were like, woo, we're the best, right? They were doing the anime, whoa, we beat them, right? They're doing the horror thing, yeah, woo, the zombies dead kind of thing. And that was terrible for them because then they believed they were stronger than the Romans, right? So the Celts then attacked the next Roman place, so they kind of went against after the Roman army, they kind of leaving there, and so on, and met after the actual army, and then they got completely just the genocided, honestly, straight up, right? Because, yeah, so the Celts, with Boudica then, famous for being its great leader, following the Roman garrison army that was leaving, what was that army doing? Yeah, they were meeting up with the actual army that the Romans didn't have currently in London, right? So then they got to the actual fight. The Romans were massively stronger, right? And they actually combined the two armies into a real army. And then the Celts arrived, they were like, oh, we're gonna own them. They didn't even try to fight at London. We're gonna beat their ass, right? So they were running in at them, and then the Romans basically just murdered all of them. And they slaughtered them. It was this massive fight, right? And the Romans lost like nothing. And it was like 100,000 Celts died, and like 10 Romans died. It's like one of the worst fights in the history of mankind. The uneven value of Roman soldiers versus Celt soldiers. And also, the Romans were way fewer people too. The Romans were like, I don't know, 20,000 men I think they are, versus like 200,000 men. They were like 10 times fewer men, but were way better trained, had better strategy, and they just easily defeated them. And just completely massacred all the Celt men basically died. And it's a true story. And that's why I love these people that, to be that guy, anti-vocal or whatever, but SUV vocal, so because of course there have been, great female leaders, like Elizabeth I, very good leader for England, right? Talking about the same countries here. But Boudica was a terrible leader, and the only thing she did was that she attacked a city that was empty because they were like, we can't fight them now. And then the next few months later, she let all her people die basically in like the dumbest fight ever. Yeah, in the worst fight ever. Because one thing they did, and I'll say this thing here, I don't know if it's anime, but I'll say this thing here, I'm talking about military Romans. One thing they did, the Celts, so this is the legendary stupidity of the Celts, is that they had this tradition that they got to the war, and then all the girls, all the females, and all the children were supposed to watch their men fight. So they did this like huge ring of carts, right? You know, horses and carts, so on, right? And this is true. This is the dumbest thing ever. So basically, all the females have created this kind of half circle, right, of their carts and horses or animals in this like weird circle, right, half circle, like that, right, so to speak. And then the army, like whatever. They're using paint. Why am I doing this with my hands? I'm sitting at a goddamn computer, guys. What's wrong with me, right? Went from the Hannibal, discussion here into this thing. I want to play thing here. Let me nerd out here. Let me nerd out, guys. Okay, so the Celts, right, were complete idiots. Honestly, they were complete goddamn morons when it comes to military strategy. So all the females have basically done this circle, right? And well, literally, they're standing in a circle like that, and it's like cars and so on. And you know, and then their army is moving like this, right? You know, the army is coming like that, right? Yeah, and then the Roman army comes here, right? The Roman army comes like this, and they have a way better strategy, better reinforcement, better system, how the shields are, the glass on, right? So the Celts get off their horseback here, basically. Then they just run at the Romans, like, offensively, right? And the Romans, you know, the typical Roman army with that shield thing they have, the tower shield they have, they just stand there, right? They use the gladius, sword is called gladius, and it just keeps killing the Celts, right? So the Celts, having burned down London before this thing, right, are super hybris, right? They're like, oh, we can't, they didn't even try to fight us, right? But of course, again, the Roman army at, like, you know, the Roman army that was at London was basically this size, right? It was like that size, so roughly speaking. So that's why this red, you know, size left, right, and went to the other Romans. They were like, hey, guys, let's, you know, gather up, right? Let's get the whole army together. Because I think it's just kind of funny, because if you play something like, you know, League of Legends or Dota or whatever, right, you can kind of imagine that the Romans were like one guy, right? That was like Shaco standing in London. He was like, I can't fight 5 against 1. So he, instead of fighting 5 against 1, he went and got the other 4 heroes, right? And then they fought together. Yeah, champions got little, yeah. He was like, hey man, let's go 5 as a group, you know. So basically the Romans is grouped up, right? Because the Romans had military people around in the countries, right? So they were like, okay, so yeah, the red plutonium, the left, right? And got the other red plutoniums, right? So, you know, the Romans basically were, you know, like this, right? You know, there were a couple of different armies, right? They just went all together and gathered up, and then they fought the Celts. And the Celts are running at them like idiots, being like, oh, they're cowards. Last time they left, when we arrived, we could easily defeat them. You know, and the Romans were like, no, we were just like, we just, you know, gathered all the troops together, right? We're not idiots. We're not going to fight like 1 against 5. It's just stupid. So, you know, the Romans just got up here, they positioned themselves, and the Celts all just, you know, went in and died. I'm not even kidding. The Celts just ran at them, right? They charged at them. They were like, bam, bam, and they all just kept dying, you know, because the Romans just defended themselves in a much, much better strategy. And then what happened, of course, was, and this is true in this story, it's also very true, and it's terrible, and that's why I hate Boudica, that people like Boudica, from a historical noob sense, right? And what happened then was that the Celt army, right, they panicked, right, because they were terrible troops, right, they panicked. So they started running away, started running away from the Romans, right, because they couldn't kill anyone, because they stood there and took it, right, they stood and defended. So the Romans started to advance, right, started to follow them, of course, and started to, you know, basically a genocide, basically kill the Celts, basically. They basically almost eradicated the Celts, honestly. So the Romans army started advancing after them, right, because they were running. This is true, this is 100% true. And what happened then? Well, the stupid Celts, right, honestly, Celts are idiots. They had this, again, they had this circle, right, you know, of all the females here, right. So what happened was, of course, that the men are running into this circle here, right. Then they get stuck, because all the women are standing here with the carts and animal and children. So they're basically blocking them, right? So then all the men died, like straight up. Like the Romans just slaughtered like the whole male population of Celts. This is a true story. Like, they killed all of them. And then the Romans just took ladies and, you know, raped or, and, you know, got all the girls too, right, you know, conquered them, sex-slaved them, yeah. Basically. So that basically eradicated the Celtic people. That's like a side here from an anime video during the history video. No, but it's a true story. And I just want to point it out how, I was thinking about it yesterday, not this per se, not the Celts, the genocide of the Celts, but I was thinking about it yesterday, right, because, you know, I made a video about the Titan yesterday, right, and 2 videos, and in one of the videos, right, I was critical, right, of some of the things. You know, I don't hate Attack on Titan, but I'm critical of what I used to call the micro-writing of Attack on Titan. I think that I have worked on a video on a concept for a very long time on Ishiyama, but basically I can break it down as he's a great macro writer and a terrible micro writer. That's the way I look at it, right? But anyway, that doesn't mean that it's a horrible anime, because I do think it has a really good, you know, macro level writing. Right? It's very, very good. Almost one of the best animes. Maybe it's One Piece. A few of them I think it's better macro. But anyway, right? So not to bring it much to that, but I was thinking about it honestly yesterday, just how people are so bad at arguing, right? And I don't say that to be like lazy and be like, oh, I can't counter argue, I just say people bad. No, because like 9 out of 10 comments I get, right, are people being like, oh, well, like you like this other character, so you're wrong. Or you like Hibiki, so you're obviously wrong. And it's like, that's completely irrelevant, right? And that's the thing, because I had a discussion a few years ago with a woman that I actually smashed before this thing. And afterward, I never did again, right? Because she turned out to be this, like, you know, there's a lot more being for equal rights or whatever. But she turned out to be, how I say it, very, very, very far left, right? Like, you know, I'm a progressive person, but I'm not a big fan of people that are extremely. I don't like people that are extremely left or right, or up or down, or whatever, right? It always says people in any kind of topic. Why are you extreme for that? Same thing I feel with Titan people. Like, why are you so extremely for it? Like, I'm also saying Titan is the worst anime ever. I'm saying it has flaws, right? You know what I mean? One Piece, I like One Piece, right? It has flaws, right? Like, no one ever dies. There's huge flaws in One Piece, I think. Big flaws in One Piece. One Piece, I think that's one reason why it's not a perfect anime or manga, because some character really should have died, right? And that's the most, I'll say, the most obvious critique of One Piece people have many years, right? But it is true. Like, it is the biggest issue One Piece has. So that's kind of how I look at it, right? Because of politics too. I used to like people that are, you know, extreme one or the direction, right? Same thing with the anime here, right? This anime here is a pretty cool anime, right? But at the same time, I'm always saying it's bad yet because I haven't explained it, but at the same time it's like hippo cyborg, it's really stupid, you know? But again, because it's anime, it's like a weird anime, it works. The stupidity makes it fun, you know what I mean? But if you later explain that hippos are the best military thing ever, then it's gonna be silly, right? It's one thing to just have it, it means better, I think, they don't explain why they have hippos, right? It's just like a stupid thing that they have hippo cyborgs and snail cyborgs, and it's just a stupid thing, right? You know what I mean? I think I prefer it if you just keep it like that. It's a crab army and flying waves and shit, and, you know, I just prefer if they, sure, certainly they might have to explain why animals are big in this world, right? Some kind of mutation war or whatever. But the actual explanation, like, why do the military have cyborg hippos? I think we can skip that, you know what I mean? I think it's probably going to get worse if they try to explain why did the military develop cyborg hippos, right? Because it's so stupid, yeah. It's just so stupid that it's better to just, you know, don't just tell me why. It's just a thing that happens, right? You know what I mean? I think it's better, right? And the Buriga thing I went over here, hopefully someone enjoyed this thing, but it's really, you can look at the books, it's all true, I didn't lie, I said. If anything, they were even dumber than I said. I'm being nice once again. But I think it's a perfect example. So I had this, you know, ex-girlfriend, I guess, right? Roommate, ex-girlfriend kind of thing. We lived together, but we lived with other people too, whatever. And, you know, she got into this, like, super left, right, you know? I'm talking about, like, extremely left wing, right? You're kind of like, okay, this woman is lost, you know? And she basically, that's what I mean, she believed Buriga was this, like, an amazing, you know, oh, she was the greatest female leader ever, she defeated the Romans, and I was like, when did she defeat the Romans? Oh, but, you know, the burning of London. I was like, yeah, that's true, but when did she defeat the Romans, actually? But how did she burn down London then? Well, she didn't fight the Romans, she just left the city. And she was like, yeah, but then she defeated them. No, then everyone got killed, you know, and she got, like, turned into sex slaves. Like, no, did she completely, she made, like, basically her whole people get genocide. Like, literally, thanks to Boudica, all the men died, right, and all the females became, like, sex slaves, right, and then of course the Romans, you know, made them, they should become half Romans, you know what I mean, so she basically eradicated, thanks to her, they eradicated the people of the Celts basically. Because if she didn't do the war either, the Romans of course were conquerors, but they had some. The Romans preferred to like take over a country and work with them, you know what I mean? And in a sense, right? So they didn't plan to like genocide the Celts, but they did because they tasted Boudica. So I shouldn't only blame her, but I mean to say that she was a good military leader when she basically more or less almost literally made her whole people, because it was her issue too, right? She was the one that wanted to stand this. You know, she was the one that wanted to do this thing too. She was the one that was like, we should all watch the men fight, and then the women are supposed to like stab the men if they run back. The women are supposed to like kill the men if they run up to. So she was like, I'm gonna kill these men. She was like, I'm gonna go and stab the men that are running at the Romans, right? And then the old men died, and she got, you know, captured and got, you know, smashed around for a bit, right? You know what I mean? Like it was honestly, yeah, that's the idea, right? The women are supposed to kill the men when they run up there, right? But because she had gathered basically all the men, right, from the whole Celtic, all the villages, all the men died, right? Literally, like almost all of them. Like seriously, because the Romans killed all of them. It wasn't like they killed 10%; they killed like 90%. They basically eradicated their whole male population. So anyway, so I had a discussion with this woman, right? That I unfortunately had previously done been with. And I didn't know it before, right? And then we had a discussion with some other people on a Friday night, and you know, she was just crazy, right? It turned out that she was just completely, you know, never read a history book. Yeah, I was like, that's not true. You know? It's not factually incorrect, and you know, she lost it, right? And it really reminded me, honestly, this like over 10 years ago, but it really reminded me of, you know, many of the comments and so on, see on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, on so on. Probably this video too, right? I see people that be like, oh, so, you know, like, what about this? Like, I had a comment yesterday that was like, how can you hate Mikasa if you love Yamato? And I was like, because of different characters, they don't have the same reasoning they are behaving like they do. You know, Yamato is played for laughs too. She's obsessed with Uden. It's like, you know, I am Uden! You know, it's played for laughs mostly, right? She's like a comedy character. Where Mikasa is literally like, I am Eren's only love, only Eren. Yeah, like Mikasa's actually that into Eren, and Yamato is more like a comedy character, right, with a lot of flaws, and obviously growing out of her Uden love in that sense, and trying to become Luffy's and so on, right? So it's a very different character. But honestly, I feel the comment service is like, why do people write these comments? Because that's not an argument. This is what the body said. It's not an argument. It's a fallacy. It's not, you know, you're not trying to change my opinion about it. It's just a silly attack on whatever character I like, right? But the same thing happened with the Buddhicast I had with this woman like many years ago, right? And again, this is a woman, you know, that had previously went in and, you know, and she was the one that wanted to do with me and so on, seduce me, so to speak, right, previously. And so obviously we should have some kind of connection, right? Yet she's like, you're lying to me! And I was like, here's the facts, like Wikipedia. I was like, no! You know, and basically she had like a mental breakdown, started crying and so on. And had like a tantrum. You know, she was like going into cray mode. I probably explained about her a few other times on the stream, honestly, because one of the things she said, this is the same story. This I know at the stream. Another thing she said was that she believed that the Amazon, you know, that the Amazonian ladies, right, you know, like the women from like Dan Manch or something, yeah, hot Amazonian. I mean, I'm not against having an army of hot Amazonian, you know, Kurugas fighting, right? But she was like, the Amazon existed, that was the one thing, right? The Amazonian ladies, the actual army, like we see in video games and anime, like the Damanshai. She was like, this are real. She was like, this are real, the real country, Amazonian nation kind of thing. She literally believed this. Okay, that's the first thing that I, you know, crazy. I'm sorry. I also wish we had a country of only badass muscular ladies. It's like my dream, okay? It's like, I want that too, but no, unfortunately, we never had a country of like badass muscular babes. Unfortunately, we're a bit badass, but that's the first she said. And then when I asked her, like, okay, so what did they ever do? Or like, I was like humoring her, okay? I was like, where was it located? It's just like the Amazonians, you know, in South America. I was like, I guess that's the name from it. Obviously, the Amazonians named after that, right? But obviously, it's there. And then, this is true. I know I said so before, but it was so funny. I was personally with crazy people you meet to have no, say it, reality bounding people, right? And then I asked her, right, okay, but what did these badass female people do then, you know, this badass, you know, OPPAI, muscular OPPAI ladies, what did they ever do, right? She was like, well, one thing they did was they defeated the Alexander the Great's army in a war. And I was like, wait, Alexander the Great fought the Amazonians? She was like, yeah, you never read the history book of your life, you're ignorant and so on, right? And I was like, wait, so you're telling me that the Alexander the Great fought like this army of, you know, 10,000 badass female ladies, you know, with big OPPAIs, big muscular and spears. So that's right, everyone knows that. And I was like, okay, and this is a true story, right? Obviously it's crazy. But also I asked her then, but you also said that the Amazonian literally lived in Amazonia, right? You know, the actual, you know, rainforest of South America. Yeah, that's right, of course. And I was like, okay, so how did they fight Alexander the Great? That's from like modern Macedonia, right? It's kind of from the, he's from like, what is it, like West Thracia, I guess, in that time frame. And he's like from Greek West Thracia, right? I believe East Thracia is like Turkey, so yeah, he's like from northern West Thracia or something, what's called in that time frame. So I was like, he's like from West Thracia, that's like, you know, Greek, Macedonia, somewhere in that region, is how his country was. How did they fight the Amazonian in the rainforest? You know, there's like two different continents, right? Like, even if the Amazonian was real, how did he fight them, you know, thousands of years ago? Of course, he was like, but like, it's like, I read it in history books. I was like, but how did they fight them? It's like one country over here, other countries over here, or they have like the Pacific, they have the no, Atlantic, I mean, of course, Atlantic in between. Yeah, it's like, how did they fight them? They didn't even know America existed, right? Columbus is like 1,500 years later, basically, yeah, like more. Yeah, I don't know what existed. How did they fight, right? And that's kind of when she started crying and had like a mental breakdown. She was like, actually had like a Gabby epiphany, where she was like, oh, wait a minute, that's true, they could never fight. I guess she finally realized that, yeah, obviously she was lying, or she was completely insane, because it's like, yeah, how did they fight, right? One country's over here, one is over here, and there's water in between. How did they ever actually engage, right? Have you seen that world map? Have you seen that world map? Okay, I thought off the stream now, but I throw a world map out, you know, guys. If you don't believe me, right? If you don't believe me, I'll show you guys a world map. I think this is very important for this video, to show you a world map, guys. Okay, why is it so tiny for? Worst world map ever. Super tiny. I just want to have a goddamn world map. Can we see that goddamn? Why is it so hard to get like a world map? Google for it. You get like a million examples, but like they're also tiny. I don't want to show you that one. Maybe this one. Okay, this is better. Okay, good. Here's a world map, guys. Where's my stream? There we go. So right, you know, it's like she's basically claiming, right? Yeah, it's a mouse good. She's basically claiming that this is kind of where he's Greek, right? But this is kind of like where Macedonia is slightly over here, like, so he's on like a West Thracia, like look at it here, basically, like the southern Bulgaria or something, or Macedonia. I don't remember exactly where his capital was when he was born, but you know, it's roughly speaking here, right? Like in this kind of region, kind of northern Greek, and he conquered like this shit, right? But no, he conquered like this, basically, right? But yeah, he starts like here, right? And she's claiming then, right, that this army here were fighting a country down here. You know what I mean? Like in Amazonian Brazil, right? So even if you humor her, say, okay, you're right. We had those like super muscular, badass OPPAI ladies from Danmanshai. They were all living down here. Okay, that's badass. I wanna see Alexander, you know, hoplites. I wanna see the hoplite army fight these like badass babes down here. I mean, I wanna see that. I'm with you, I'm with you on it, yeah. But it's just like, you see all the water in between here? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's like over 2,000 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. They didn't have any ships to go down this distance. They didn't know it existed, right? It just doesn't make any goddamn sense. And that's kind of when she had a mental breakdown, as I mentioned, because then she finally had to accept that even if we, you know, argue that, okay, Amazonian lady army did exist, how would they have fought, yeah, the Alexander's great army, and also beat him? But, you know, regardless, even if they won or not, how would they fight, right? How would they have fought? That was ridiculous. One of the dumbest things that ever been reported in my life, honestly. But you know, like think I'm against that. You know, I want this thing to be true. You know, I want this thing to be true. It's a good image of when the flicks. There's one scene in that mantra, set 2, I believe it is. When they're gonna recruit this new, when they're gonna have new members. Here it is. They're gonna have new members, right? And then Hestia is like, oh yeah! And there's like Amazonian babes up here, and they're showing off their muscle. They're like, I wanna own the Hestia guild, because in that anime, Amazonia is like a race of females, right? You know what I mean? It's like a fantasy race, you know, baby females, yeah. Then all these Amazonian ladies appear, and they're all like, oh yeah, we should join the Hestia guild, you know, and they all had ridiculous oppais and very muscular abs and so on, yeah. And Belle's like, yeah, we could use those ladies, Hestia-sama. And then she got pissed off. Like, no, we don't want more babes in my guild. Damn it. Yeah, but yeah, it's like this like harem Amazonian up here. Like, what season 2 of the Manchas is basically the Amazonian trying to, you know, get with Belkun, right? Yeah, but you know, like that's what she believed that. She literally believed that Amazonian people were a real race, right? Like basically another race than humans, like elves. You know? Yeah, honestly, she kind of believed that they were like elves, you know, like dwarves or something. Yeah, like a fantasy race, you know, like a race that only can give birth to females, you know. That's kind of how it's in the Mancha, right? It is crazy. Oh my god, I can't believe that I had that. I still can't believe that conversation is a real conversation I had, right? So yeah, I'm not surprised when I see people's comments on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, right, that can't argue and just make really weird comments. I'm like, I've seen worse in reality, so I guess I'm immune to it. But anyway, guys, that stream took a little turn there. Those hippos triggered me. Yeah, they got them hippos. They got me, man. The hippos, they got me in a historical rant here. But I always just remember that woman again that I spent some time with, that literally believed that Amazonia was a real country and so on, and you know, she believed that Hannibal also fought them with the elephants, and she had all this like historical thing. For that matter, I have time for this, but one other life story I'll tell you guys. When I was 15, I believe it was at 15, we had a history like thing when people were talking about different historical events or whatever, right? Like you made a project, two or one or whatever, but like 2 people, and 2 girls from my class, they were 15, they were talking about Napoleon. So we're gonna have like a 10-minute speech about, you know, reading stuff about Napoleon, right? And everything they said was like wrong. It was like ridiculous. It was like, this was one of the dumbest things I heard in my life. I was like, what have they have zero source control over this thing? But also I found it was so funny because the thing they were saying, it wasn't just like, oh, Napoleon defeated, I don't know, Stalin or something, but literally they were saying set up with that, right? It was really crazy. So it was crazy in this general sense, but also stuff they said was just like clearly impossible. You were like, you have absolutely no understanding of history if you believe that Napoleon was fighting Stalin, right, and or Hitler or whatever. Like, they didn't live in the same era, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, he wasn't part of World War II, and then they were like, oh, Napoleon also, you know, defeated like Caesar or something, whatever. It was like, what is this? Like freaking an anime talking about? Have you ever seen what's it called? Drifters, yeah. It was like, what is it? A history lesson from Drifters? Where like Napoleon was fighting all these people in a medieval. Were the elves there? Like, it was crazy. And so, you know, sometimes I meet these people, they have so little understanding of the world. It didn't make any sense. Like, it's generally sense, you know, not this like, oh, Napoleon had a big navy. No, we're talking about like Napoleon fighting Stalin. It never happened. He went to Russia, that's true, but it wasn't Stalin in control that time, you know, like, this is crazy. And the worst thing I think though, was that my teacher, you know, the sensei, right, had a pretty sexy sensei, obviously it's a very, you know, Swedish big titty sensei, but she sat there. She sat there because she's sort of afraid, right, of having any confrontation with people, right, because it's very Swedish. So just sat there and was just like, and they were like, and then Stalin fought Napoleon, this happened, and I was like, this is crazy. I was looking at her like, they're crazy, everything is a lie, right? And she's just like, oh god damn it, you know, but she doesn't stop them. She should have interrupted them and said, this is crazy talk, right? But she didn't do that, and that's terrible because my class is honestly, right, is a bunch of morons, right? Most of them, not all of them, but one of them are most of them morons, right? And they're gonna believe what these girls are saying, right? You know, they're 15-year-old idiots, right? They're gonna believe what she's saying. So of course I had to say, okay, just goddamn it, everything you said so far is a complete lie. This is insane, right? Right? I had to stand up and say, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Nothing you said so far is history accurate. It's insanely inaccurate. Everything you said. And then of course I was the bad boy, right? And the sensei instead is like, oh, Myrmonden, you're so mean to them. You like, let them finish. I was like, finish the lying about everything. The people here in the class are gonna get freaking tricked by them. You should do your job and tell them that they should stop immediately because they said everything that's so wrong. And I just refused to stop it, right? And then had to stop this goddamn speech and everything. Then I had to go to the principal and, you know, say that they're complete morons. Of course, they stood by me, and I blamed Sensei for being a useless woman, right? Being useless, being all afraid, being like, oh no, I want to confront my students of lying, and so on, right? And, you know, I didn't get any punishment for it. But I remember it so well because just sitting there with a grown-ass woman, right, you know? I'm a 15-year-old, she's a grown-ass woman, and she can't confront two, you know, 15-year-old girls that are lying about everything, right? And then she can't say that they're wrong. She's just like, oh, gosh, just wait out. It's like 10 minutes of lying. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and pretend that it's raining, you know? And I was like, what's wrong with you, you know? Embarrassment. But it's very Swedish, unfortunately. Swedish culture, but people are so afraid of culture, so afraid of the conflict in Sweden. Ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, the life story here. But I never forgot that moment where I heard that Napoleon defeated Stalin like 100 years before he lived. And also Napoleon fought these other people. Yeah, he also fought like Hitler and so on. Yeah, I'm never gonna forget that, man. It was like an anime history lesson. I was like, okay, yeah, this is like an isekai or something. It's isekai, isn't it? Anyway, see you guys, have a great day. Tomorrow then, Twitch for gender bender anime, right? Yeah, I won't do it on YouTube if it's too risky.